Have you tried the coffee yet?
Oh, I've been destroying it.
Mm-hmm.
Ezra has not been sleeping good lately.
Old Ez. Yeah,
I've been-
Trina was telling me about the teething.
Yeah, and last night and today there's been something else. He's been like, it's weird. He's like, stops breathing while he's sleeping for like a few seconds and then like catches his breath. So we're starting to think he has like sleep apnea.
Oh no.
Yeah. So she's gonna, which yeah. I mean, we had a visit with the pediatrician scheduled Tuesday, just like his regular, checkup thing. But I think she might call in the morning, so that might be fun.
Mm.
Yeah,
Where do you guys take him? Like what?
Clinton.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he just all of a sudden started doing this?
He's done it like once every week or two for the last couple months, and we're just like, yeah, whatever. But it's been really bad the last 2 days, day and a half. Yeah. So
Good
I don't
call
know.
on that, by the way. Good thinking. Looks good. Sweet. If anyone does come in here, let us know how you like Wade's sign. That was all his doing. Are we on 5? Okay. Sweet. Sweetness. So, we were going to talk about, let's go all the way back to, like, I remember we were standing in my kitchen at my old house, and it was
Yeah.
October. It was like the end of October, and I had just done a bow hunt, and I was like, you know what we should do? We were meeting for Wednesday night Bible study, and I was like, you know what we should do? And you're like, what? And then like you started saying it before I said it.
Yeah.
You were like, we should do like a hunting podcast, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. But so, what is that? 8 months ago, almost 8 months ago that this has been unraveling.
Yeah, I think you mentioned like over a year ago that you used to do one, and then it took a while, but the clock started turning, and eventually I was like, yeah, that's it.
And then so we started buying everything, started, buying all the equipment, the microphones. I moved, and God blessed us with this awesome studio. I put this wood wall up. You made that sign. We hired a producer, my best friend from high school, who's a big techie, smarty pants
Smart
over
guy.
there. T-Mobile sucks. He works for T-Mobile, and T-Mobile sucks. But I love him. So yeah, we had this idea, and then I came up with the name. I had actually come up with the name. Go to Genesis chapter 1. I came up with the name while I was on the way to go snagging with my dad and my pastor. And I was like, dude, you know what would be such a sick name for like a hunting theology Christian podcast? And they were like, what? And I was like, Day 6, because it's the day that God created man and animals. And this podcast is about our pursuit of the Son of God and the animals. So I thought it was, so they were like, yeah, that's sick, blah, blah, blah. So you should see where it says evening came and then morning and the 6th day, where it says that he made man. Should be,
Dude, start right after it says in the morning was the 5th day, and then go from there.
yeah.
Correct. Okay, that is Genesis 1, verse 24. I'll just read through. Then God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature according to its kind, cattle and creeping thing and beast of the earth, each according to its kind. And it was so. God made the beasts of the earth, cattle, everything that creeps, all according to its kind. God saw that it was good. And then God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish, the birds, the cattle, and all everything that creeps over the earth." So God created man in his own image. The image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. God blessed them, said, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth, and have dominion over everything that lives on it. I have given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of the earth, every tree that yields fruit, and then also every beast of the earth, every bird, and everything that creeps on the earth I have given to you." God saw everything he had made, and indeed it was very good. So the evening and the morning were the sixth day.
There you go. Day 6, everybody. Cue the music in the background.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing is we will have our intro. We posted that promo video. That's going to double as our intro, but for some reason we're having audio difficulties. It's like the only video that we for some reason can't get to play audio, but we'll have that fixed by next time. So that is kind of where this was birthed. And so why don't you just tell us kind of like, what is our goal? What's our mission with this?
So, I mean, you have your hunting podcasts everywhere, and you have your Christian podcasts everywhere.
Right.
We're just mixing it too.
Yeah.
I mean, spreading the word of God through our love for Him, each other, hunting. That's like our sole mission here.
I think, because we were talking about it, and we're like, you can't really find a whole lot like that. Reaching the outdoor hunting community with the gospel, you don't really find that. The closest thing I could think would be the Robertsons,
Yeah.
which they do a wonderful job.
They're awesome.
So awesome. But that's what I think of, So that's kind of our goal. And hopefully God blesses us and it turns into something where we can start coming out with merch. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I had the coolest idea ever for a shirt.
Okay.
I actually have 2 ideas. So one idea is Jesus, like a biblical like a biblical depiction of Jesus, like a Jewish Jesus, not like a cringy European white Jesus, but a biblical Jesus with a camo like cut off tank top on. So I thought of that, and then
He's got like a turkey thrown over his
yeah.
shoulder.
I thought that'd be pretty funny. And then another one, I don't know if I should say it. The other one is so good that I kind of wanted it to be a surprise, so I'll keep the other one hidden.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, so did you even go turkey hunting? It's turkey season's
so
over.
freaking busy.
Turkey season's over. Dad and I went out 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. And the first time we went out, I didn't hear anything all morning long, besides like some distant gobbles.
Yeah.
The ones that are like 500 yards away and they sound like,
Yeah.
Well, so we heard some of those and we were like, I don't know, dude. The closest ones were probably 350, 400 yards away. And so we moved as close as we could on our property line and tried to call. They would gobble, but they wouldn't get any closer. So we're like, let's just do what we always do, get up and go to the other side of the property, the north side of the property, and see what happens. This was at like 8:30. So we walk all the way to the north side of the property. We set up kind of over where I put my rye food plot for the deer. I actually sat like right in it. And we start calling, crickets, start calling, nothing. At 9:30, I said to Dad, I'm like, if by 10 o'clock, I think I actually said 9:45, but let's just say 10 o'clock, I was like, why don't you say we either try our other property or we just skedaddle?
Yeah.
And it was like 9:40, 9:45, and I called on the slate and just, and I'm like, okay. And it
Okay.
was 200 yards on our property on the north side. And I was like, okay, let's see if we can get him to start playing with us. So Dad tries the mouth call. I keep slating, and every time he's cutting us off, and he's responding. But he wouldn't actually take a step.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he kept responding. We'd keep calling, but he would not come in. And so I'm like, we're just gonna do this hunting public style. Shout out to the hunting public. And so we ended up getting up. I grabbed my shotgun. We grabbed. Did we grab both decoys or just? I think we did grab both decoys. I grabbed one. He grabbed one. No, he grabbed both of them because I had the shotgun. Anyway, and we just sprinted across the field because I knew he was in the woods a ways.
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
So I knew there was no risk of him seeing us. And so we just sprinted beeline straight to the north side of the property. Got about 90 yards in. We called. Right after we had just ran 90 yards across the field. And we stopped behind this giant bush thicket. So now we had cut the distance from like 200 to 120, 100, something like that. And he's still not coming in. But this is when we settled down from sprinting across the field. But he's still a ways off. And we find out later that the reason why he wouldn't come in any farther is because he had a hen or maybe even two. I know he had one hen, but maybe even two. So then after that point, like right when that video cuts off, I'm like, Dad, we got to risk it. And we got to he's not going to, because like Dad and I, turkey hunting, have had enough experience to know if a tom ain't coming, he's not coming.
Oh, yeah.
So like he's stubborn.
Yeah.
You're going to lose that fight. I have never, like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody's had an experience where you had a hung up tom that all of a sudden decided, oh, you know what? I am going to come. But normally, if they're coming fast. And if they're not, they're not.
Yep.
Like, it's not like this. They stay hung up for 25 minutes. And then all of a sudden, if you wait 5 more minutes, here they come. It's never.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
they either are interested and they're coming and beard swinging across the field, or they're like, nope, you're gonna have to come to me.
Yeah.
So we just decided to just sprint to the tree line, and Dad was like, dude, this is getting risky. Like, he's only in the woods like 40 yards. He's gonna see us. So we crawled to the edge of the woods, cue up that second video, and we got right behind this like perfectly convenient, thank you Lord, log where we were able to kind of hide from. You can see. Or we were able to hide behind it. You can see, and he's just in the woods, like 40 yards. And this is also like episode 1 trials, working out the kinks. So I'm not worried
Working
about
with
it.
what we got at the moment.
I'm not worried
We're
about
getting
it.
there.
So, and then play the third video. This is where I actually get the shot and the reaction. And pause it real quick. So I'm standing right there behind that tree, because as you can see, that brush and stuff is so thick, and a turkey's only, what, 30 inches tall?
Yeah.
And so that brush is like, he is barely taller than that brush, only by like 4 or 5 inches. And since I was down on his level, I could hear his gobbling super loud, but I never saw him. It was frustrating me. So I'm like, you know what? I've just got to guess where he's at and try to get behind a big tree and hope that I'm at the right angle where he can't see me stand up. So that's what I did. Just stood up right behind that tree. I saw his head bobbing, and he was at probably like 28, 30 yards, something like that, and blew him to pieces.
Nice.
Yep. Go ahead. 40 minutes later.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so there was my turkey success.
Yeah.
And then we went the week after that to try to get Dad one. Same, distant gobbles, 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
And then the third time, exactly the same. And we probably could have had better success, if you will. Like, Dad probably could have killed one, but turkey numbers are down pretty bad here in Missouri.
Are they really?
Mm-hmm. At least that's the rumor on the turkey street.
Yeah.
And we saw evidence of that. Like, I don't know. Normally, like, dude, back in 2014, 15, 16, maybe even 17. There was like a 4-year stretch where you could go to that property and set up on this certain hill. Remember that giant hill that we drove through when I was showing you? Well, there was a time frame where you could sit up there and it was nothing to have 5 or 6 Jakes and 2 Toms come to your decoys.
Wow.
And that time, like I said, we were struggling to find one on the property. So that's the word on the street, is that numbers are down. So we didn't want to kill another one off that property. So we focused only on our other places, and public land, and we just not real respondent. And
I guess I could say I saw less this last deer season, for sure. Yeah,
I didn't see any turkey. Well, it's because I didn't really deer hunt.
yeah.
So, recap your deer season real quick. Like, we're here in June, so just in a nutshell.
Yeah, I saw an enormous amount of deer. Had a lot of really fun hunts and a ton of 2 and 3 year olds. And I think I'll say I saw probably the biggest whitetail on hoof in the stand that I've ever seen in my life. Too far to get him shot on the neighbor's property, all that stuff. Just couldn't get him in. So that was really fun. Just huge. Shot at one, and arrow hit a tree limb. Didn't get him, sadly. He was a really nice one. But so yeah, I mean, it was. I had tons of good hunts. Just
Was that one
a lot of really just young, just a lot of 2-year-olds. You know,
isn't it amazing?
I mean,
how
it's a
that
lot of
works?
like potential for next year. So like, I'm really excited for this year.
So
But
right, but
just a lot of 2 and some 3-year-olds, but not
what
many.
I've noticed, and I know, but it's just funny. Like, why does it seem like since I was like 7, I've seen a lot of deer that would be great next year?
Oh, well, yeah.
And it's like, how come next year doesn't come 11 years later?
Yeah, right?
It's like, oh, next year, dude,
Yeah.
you'd be in the 150s. Next
Yeah.
year comes along. Next year, dude, you'd be in the 140s. Next year, dude, you'd be in the 150s. It's like, how come we never see the
Yeah.
next year
Well,
dudes?
I mean, I will say we had more cameras out last year because I was kind of like my work was really slow during season last year, which was fantastic. So I was able to kind of be out more, set cameras up more, and just kind of pay a little bit more attention. And they were like dry this year. The cameras were just pretty tame compared to
Trina,
what usually they are.
the audio on this whole thing, or just the turkey video?
I think it's just the video because I've already kind of investigated it a little bit, and I think
Just the video we were watching?
just the video.
Do you know what was going on?
I think it's something similar to the built-in mic on the laptop, like what we had to solve with the
Like, came back on again or something?
No, like when moving from scene to scene.
Goodness gracious.
I'll get it figured out.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, no problem.
He's got it.
No problem. Well, hopefully it wasn't too annoying. Anyway, sorry
Thanks
to
for
cut you
letting us
off.
know.
I just noticed that, and I was just worried it was like happening right now.
Oh
So,
no, yeah. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm excited for this year. Gonna try to get some deer stands in
Same.
better order. We've been kind of lazy with that the last couple of years, sadly. Fix up some trails, maybe do some food plots if the weather cooperates and all that stuff. So hopefully, come I don't know, June, July, August, spend a little bit of time out preparing more than we typically do.
When do you
Would definitely
usually start all of your deer activities? Like July?
I would say we should start in July. I mean, you can put out some corn piles in July. You gotta stop obviously August 15th. You can't have any more. I'm pretty positive it's a month before. Well, season opens September 15th.
Yeah,
so
but
I'm pretty
I think
positive.
it's September 1st because I think it's 2 weeks.
I thought it was 30 days.
Maybe they changed it.
I thought it was
hope it's
30
not
days
30
that you
days.
have to have. It's one of the two. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Right.
yeah.
You got to have it gone at some point.
yeah,
I think that's only food, right? Like, you can keep mineral out as much as you
Yeah,
want.
yeah. We always keep some. We always keep some tubs of field corn
Yeah.
from the previous year and just put them out just to see what's kind of on
Mm-hmm.
the property in July and August. But we take them out, obviously. So I mean, you can do stuff like that, but I would say trimming trees and stuff, I'd wait more towards end of August, because if you do them too early, they're just gonna grow back, or you'll miss things that are later in the year and all that stuff. So I mean, I would say mid August is probably when. Now food plots, I would say like end of July, beginning August. Kind of depends weather dependent, because you want to aim for when you
And
know
also-
you're going to get a rain
And also what you're planting. Cause
Yeah, that too.
Like I only so far have planted rye just because it's so easy and
Yeah.
you know, work schedule and such, driving an hour down there.
Yeah.
Rye is really easy.
Yeah.
You can just do like a no-till method that I learned from Jeff Sturgis, Whitetail Habitat Solutions, where you can just round up the grass. All you got to do is just mow it, like with a tractor or whatever.
Yeah.
Round up it and throw the seed down.
Yeah.
And that actually drew in that year. That first year I had it, I actually had 18 deer in that rye food plot at once during rifle season.
Nice.
And that would have never happened
Yeah.
beforehand.
Love to see it.
Yeah. And so that you actually plant pretty late.
Yeah, you can plant that late.
Yeah, like I didn't plant it until October
Oh, wow.
10th.
Yeah.
I was late, but like the rule generally is like for the states up north, Michigan, Wisconsin is normally Labor Day, so like
September 10th.
September,
Yeah.
I think whenever Labor Day is,
It's
middle
early
of September.
Yeah.
But then you want to do like a week or two after that for the southern states. So October 1st should have been more of my target. And you always want to plant like before a pretty good heavy rain.
Yeah.
But that rye worked out really well. Grew fine.
Oh,
Super
yeah.
awesome. I put
Yeah.
2 different plots. I put one 1 acre plot and another 1 acre plot, 2 acres total. They were about 100 yards apiece or apart from each other. But for some reason, they preferred one over the other. I don't really know why. Does that ever happen to you? To where you could have the same thing planted in 2 different spots and they'll go to one. Like they're growing the same. Like they both grew good, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it has to do with cover. Like they feel safer out.
It's either that or like, I don't know if one's higher on a ridge. Maybe it's wind, or maybe that's on their trail to their primary food source more so than the other one. They're pretty lazy animals. They take
Right.
the path of least resistance
Yeah.
like all the time. So, yeah, I don't know any of that stuff, but yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I've got I think one spot that I want to add a tree stand, but honestly, like I think you can so overthink it. We were talking about it a little bit when we went to go take down that tree stand.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
how like you always want to be zealous and kind of act on the previous year experience. And I've learned a hard lesson from doing that because like, you know, like when you're inexperienced and immature, like when I was like 15, 16, bow hunting and stuff, whenever I would like say I saw a big buck in November of 2015.
Yeah.
Well, you better guarantee I'm putting a tree stand exactly where
yeah.
that deer was standing the next year. And that doesn't always avail.
It doesn't always work out.
Yeah, because like it could be a random, you know, like he could have just stepped out randomly on a random trail. Like, and so just it's tempting to want to do that though, because like your last memory of that spot was a good memory. So you're like, I should put a tree stand right there.
Yeah.
But I've done that before and actually hit myself in the face by
Moving yourself up where you were.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll see a good amount of deer movement or a big buck in a certain spot. I'll move a tree stand there because I'm so focused on getting to that spot. That must be the magic spot where these deer are at. And then I'll end up actually getting busted because I'm getting too close to the deer's household and its home range and its nest. So then I end up and I can't get out of there and just destroy it. So I've kind of learned like hunt dude, I swear the key is access. Hunt where you can safely access and leave without getting busted.
Yeah.
You
Leaving
know,
scent,
and
any
leave
of it.
them
Yeah, yeah.
alone. Let them have a little
Yeah.
bit of the land, you know. So,
Yeah.
like, I had that buck that was bedded down in the hayfield. I was showing you along that fence line by the pond.
Mm-hmm.
Big buck. Nice deer. Yeah, I was 400 yards away, just admiring
Yeah,
through
yeah.
the binoculars, and I was like, so I was telling you, I was like, should I put a tree stand over there? You know, we kind of talked about it like you could, but the access isn't very good. It's risky. You might get caught. Like, but the whole season I saw him twice, 3 days apart, and he was in the same spot, bedding in the same
Yeah.
spot. It's like, how do you not act like that's so predictable? Like you want to act, but it's like, if I would I have spooked him and he never came
Yeah.
back? It's like, it's
And
that gamble.
They only get that big for a reason because they're smart.
It's that
you know?
gamble. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
should I stay far away and just chance that he comes around, or should I move in and try to kill him?
Yeah, and like, yeah, you learn it over lots of years. I've been hunting for like 11, 12-ish years now, deer hunting. And like you said, you learn over time. You see something, you want to act on it, but generally it's not smart to unless you're really seeing them there and you can like prove with trails and stuff, you know, they're there.
Yeah.
But even like that one that I shot at this year and didn't get,
The one where it like hit a branch.
yeah. I've hunted out of that stand. It's been the same spot for like 5 years now, and I see lots of really nice bucks out of it. Lots of deer, and he came to the exact spot they always do, but he picked a trail that I didn't even know existed. It totally caught me off guard. He showed up like 20 yards away, and I didn't even know I didn't know he was there until he was like right there,
Like,
looking at me. You know, so like those big bucks are just so smart.
Were you in the woods?
Smart. Yeah.
How'd you not hear him? Well, that was the dumbest question to
Yeah,
ask.
yeah.
Like,
There's a giant oak tree and a giant cedar tree, and he came like right through them, and it's just like,
dude,
he
I'm
was basically
still
invisible until he was right there.
I'm still like amazed at how quiet they are.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
insane. Like
Yeah.
the last good hunt that I had was October. It was like late October, last week of October. I had that encounter with that same buck from the year before, from October of 21. I saw him again October of 22. Remember the buck that I drew back on 3 times, and every time I drew back, something went wrong?
Yeah.
Well, that same buck, even bigger this year, was staring me down at 9 yards. And it was the exact situation. I'm in the woods. The leaves are even crunchy. It wasn't a windy day. I still can't figure out how I didn't hear him coming.
Yeah.
But I was sitting there, I was just looking off to my left, and I hear a shh, 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 shh. And by the time I heard it and I looked to my right, he was at 15 yards. I'm like, my bow's on the hook. I'm sitting. What am I? And, and I have no cover straight in front of me. Good cover behind me for me to hide, and good cover on my left. But on my right side and right in front of me, it's just wide open. It's just me and the tree, wide open. There's 0 trees, bushes, anything right in front of me and to the right. So I was so exposed. So I was like, I know for a fact if I move, he's going to bust me, but I have to move to be able to kill him.
Yeah.
One of those weird situations.
Yeah.
He was probably in the high 130s, low 140s.
Yeah.
10 yards away, like awesome looking rack, super. I think he had some trash.
Yeah.
He was super cool. But I was ready to shoot him. I stood up. I was able to stand up with him at 11, 12 years. You know, he's just doing the sniff in the ground thing. I stood up, reached back. I was actually able to grab my bow. At this point, I was like, God's going to do this. Like, how have I even gotten this far? And I sneak it around. I put my release on the D-loop. And right there, when I put the release on and I'm about to start drawing, he does the... And that's where I'm like, why do I even try?
Yeah,
just
exactly.
like
shoot.
you
know what? I'll just put the bow back. You can just
and
do your
he's
thing.
just looking into the depths of my mind, my thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like playing games with me, like, what are you gonna? I see you. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
what are you
like,
gonna do?
Come on.
Yeah,
Go for it.
and so this is where experience comes in. I know that every time a deer busts you, they'll take a few hops and stop
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that happen? Now, sure, if they see, smell, and hear you and you terrify them, they probably won't stop. But generally, if they're just curious and spooked, what they'll do is
Run about
they
30
might
yards
blow
and
one
stop.
time,
Yeah.
they'll bounce like twice, stop, and turn and look. So knowing that that's what he was going to do, he's staring me down at like 9 or 10 yards. I draw back with him watching me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know the routine, whatever. So I draw back. Sure enough, he does a quick blow. He hops 3 times. So he started at like 9 or 10 yards, and now he's at like 25. Stopped perfectly broadside and looked at me right behind a tree. I'm like,
Yeah.
you have avoided death
Yeah.
now 4 times over a span of 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, by the time he stepped out from in front of the tree, covering his vitals just perfectly,
Yeah.
he was out of range,
Yeah.
too far.
No, that's exactly the one I shot at and hit that tree limb. Is the exact same thing. He shows up looking right at me, and I'm like, oh no. So I just start to get the bow up, hoping for the same exact thing to happen. Because if I just sat there, he was gonna be gone. And so I start moving the bow up, and yeah, he runs like 40 yards and gets exactly broadside, stops over there, and I had the bow on him, and I could see that there was just one limb sticking out there, and I was like, I think I'm gonna miss it. And my dad was actually hunting like 200 yards away, and dude, it made the loudest crack when it hit that tree limb. And he texted me like, "What in the world was that?"
He could hear it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was.
Was
like,
the limb
stupid
like
loud.
close, like right in front of you, or like halfway between you
It
and
was.
the deer?
He was like 40 yards, and it was probably halfway ish out there. Yeah.
But you did.
I thought
Did you see it before you shot, and you were like, "Surely I'll miss it."
Well, yeah, because when I was looking at it, it was dead right with his midsection. So I was like, "There's gonna go over and drop down." No, nailed it.
Of course.
Yeah.
But if you tried to hit it, if that
Yeah.
stick was a tick on his heart, no way.
Yeah.
No way.
So it was unfortunate, but it was a fun hunt. It was one of those things, like you said earlier. I was literally gonna leave the stand,
And wasn't
like
that-
I was like packing my stuff to leave.
Uh-huh.
And then I
When you
sat
heard
there
him.
and I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait just a little longer. And then he literally steps out.
Right. And wasn't that the deer that you had encountered before that, or got pictures of or something? I thought there was like a
No.
little story with that.
No. That really, really big one that we saw, we had gotten pictures of him in the hayfield where I saw him again. This one, I'd never seen him before. It was like his rack was like the color of this Bible. It was like the
Dark.
most caramel looking rack ever. Really big, thick. Had a lot of trash up there, and it was one of those where he stepped out, and I was like, "You got to get it," you know, like
Oh, for
I'm
sure.
not counting anything.
There's no-
I'm not looking like
That's how you know.
this is him.
That's how you know that it's a shooter. Is you don't have to do the thoughts.
Yeah, even when he was sitting there looking at me, I wasn't like focused on the rack. I was like, how do I get him?
How do I get
any
you
other
dead?
way? Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I don't care about that.
Because so many of those deer, like, and we still don't do it because in the moment it's adrenalizing and it's hard to be disciplined. But like, honestly, if you have to have the conversation in your head,
Yeah,
he's not
I
a
just
shooter.
usually don't go for it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But am I gonna keep doing it? I don't know. Look at this brow time.
Right.
But he's not quite back past his ears yet. Yeah, but look how tall he is.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's just like, yeah. If it's not pretty obvious, you're probably safer to hold off than
Yeah.
to be disappointed. Yeah. I had an awesome. We're almost done recapping our deer season. I had an awesome bow kill. Remember behind my old house?
Yeah.
That was a weird and awesome hunt all at the same time. That was a great shot. That was a 40 or 42 yard shot. Perfect, right in the shoulder.
Yeah.
Deer ran like 30 yards. I was impressed with my shot. I usually get a little fuzzy like when we start approaching 40.
Yeah.
It starts to get a little sketchy. Like I personally, you archers out there roast me. I don't care. I don't shoot past 40. I just don't. I I've played the blood trail game. I just don't like shooting past 40.
Yeah.
I don't practice enough to not respect the animal enough to shoot past 40. So it's like anywhere from 38 to 41, 42 yards, something like that. And I thought it was a smaller doe. Ended up being a fawn buck. Yeah, dude, talk about ground shrinkage. Like he was behaving like a doe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've been in the woods a long time, and you can like even tell by their mannerisms, like how they walk, if it's a buck or a doe. They're totally different. Yeah, apparently not at that age. I thought it was just like a smaller doe, like a 1.5 year, 2-year-old doe. I don't know. Like, I was way up there in the tree, like depth perception. I don't know how I guessed that wrong, but he was by himself. So I think what it was is if he would have had his mother there, like if the doe would have been there, I think. No, he wasn't
Would've
like
made more
young enough.
sense.
He didn't like have spots or anything.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he had just lost him. I'm telling you. This will tell you. I hauled him out of the woods ungutted like a turkey. Pretty sad. I was so mad.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
so mad. I mean, I'm thankful for the meat and everything and for a good shot. But
Yeah.
I went to go take out like a good 1.5 year, 2-year-old doe to put in the freezer. Thought that's what I was doing. I walked up on him and I'm like,
Oh man.
oh my.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. And sure enough, felt the little nubs and I'm like, I hate everything. I was just thankful that it was a good shot.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, so we've gone over, we've done our test runs, found out a couple little hiccups that we'll fix for next time. We'll have the intro next time. Next time, or either next week or the week after, our goal is to, while we're just figuring this out, I would honestly, if we can, like to do every week, just because the more often we do it, the more fresh we'll stay on it, and the more our producer can work out the kinks and such. So yep. So we'll and we have worked out our scheduling issues. Sorry that we changed it 42 times. It was originally going to be a week from today, like last Thursday, but then schedules kept changing, and when one person could do it, the other person couldn't. So we're going to, from now on, only do it when our producer is off work. That way we don't even have to deal with his schedule. I have the same schedule. His changes, it's up and down, so we'll eliminate that problem. So we've gone over the goal for what we're wanting to accomplish, share Jesus with the through the lens of our love for hunting. We're going to be incorporating, there's going to be a lot of scripture reading and interpreting and incorporating that into our conversations. Some episodes will probably be more scripture theology based, and some might be more hunting based. Like I could see, like if we're in the middle of the rut, there's going to be a lot of deer talk and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Still incorporating. It's all through the lens of
stuff out
scripture,
there,
but
yeah.
you see what I'm saying? It's not all going to be the same, so we'll get a good mix. But I want everyone to hold us accountable, the whole audience. This is not, we've talked about, this is not a hunting podcast where we just throw Jesus onto our plate, as like a side dish. This is a Christian podcast, a Jesus podcast, where we're using our love for one of our hobbies to serve him.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
Yeah.
This isn't just a conservative podcast, where we like throw in God for our benefit when it makes sense for some likes. Like this is a Christian podcast, a gospel podcast, where we look at it through the lens of our love for hunting and try to reach the outdoor hunting community. We're also going to have some guests on. My dad's going to come on to talk more about turkey hunting.
Yeah.
He loves turkey hunting so much.
Oh yeah. Great.
Yeah, I've got
and videographer as well.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, my dad, Josh Murray, he shot that whole promo video with this camera and
like
did a
45
phenomenal job. Yeah, we were done in like an hour.
Yeah.
I also want to post some of those bloopers as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They were hilarious. Yep. So from now to next week or whenever we do the next one, we'll work out some kinks and just keep chatting.
Yeah.
So,
And we'll be more engaged on socials and stuff the
Oh, yeah.
farther we get into it.
Yep.
And we don't necessarily want to follow like outlines at first, at least.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about
Like-
that. But I think establishing like topics,
mm-hmm.
or at least you and me talking between each other, and then maybe posting that on socials, like here's what to maybe expect,
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe that's a good thing to get to, but I think at some point we'll have a little more structure, but we don't
Yeah.
want it to be like
I like the-
this, you
Right.
know?
I
Yeah.
like, we were talking about this. I like the approach to a podcast where we treat it as if we are unaware anyone's watching.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not talking to an audience. Like, and next we'll move on to point number 3. Welcome.
Yeah.
Like, that's just dumb, It's
Yeah.
not a sales, it's not a commercial. I like, just like, we're just chatting as buds, and we're like we do,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we actually do, but there's microphones and a camera.
Yep.
I like that. But at the same time, like, we need to have something to talk about. So
Yeah,
good,
and I
good
think,
balance.
I think maybe saving 10 minutes at the end for like questions.
Yep.
If,
Absolutely.
like,
Absolutely.
because like we gotta be open to that. We can't
yeah.
just not,
And-
and we gotta be open to the hard and the easy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have all the answers. I'm not gonna say we do,
Oh,
but
Definitely not.
yeah, I think just some stuff like that.
Yeah,
we'll
no,
start
I'm looking forward to it.
incorporating in, and,
I am gonna pray hardcore that we draw a good audience, a good faithful audience.
Yeah.
And we're also gonna be we're live streaming to Facebook. We're gonna see if we can figure out some software and some stuff to be able to live stream to YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. At the same time, and watch both chats at the same time. But as for now, we're live streaming to Facebook, and then we're posting it afterwards to YouTube. And
podcasts.
yeah, so
As well?
yeah. So like when this is done, we'll post it to YouTube
Yeah.
as a recording. But yeah, it'd be
Do we have page created? Yet?
YouTube. Yeah, it's done.
We do. Okay.
Yep. Email,
gonna say, I looked
everything. Yep. I think
sometime,
the
but-
email is on Facebook, but it's day6 spelled with Roman numerals, dayvipodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Yep. So cool. So that's it for this week, and thanks for watching. Share, like, all the stuff, and our YouTube channel is called Day6. That's again with the Roman numerals. So just look us up on YouTube and subscribe and share the heck out of us. God bless.